Welcome to the second episode. This is our second episode, right? I don't even know if we're releasing this in order, but theoretically our second episode of the 1 hour one brain cell podcast, where we spitball and talk about nothing for approximately an hour, because we already broke our own rule in the first episode and went over time. As is tradition, we set an outline and then completely missed the target. Yeah. Do you want me? I'll just introduce you. I'm gonna introduce my co-host Richie. He has gotten a yellow flag, actually a yellow card, from VAR review from me before, because he doesn't like hash browns. And the reason that it wasn't a red card is because he let me eat them. So that's it.
Welcome to the show, everybody. That's my co-host on my right-hand side. Can You Take Her Higher? Her go-to karaoke song is Higher by Creed. Always a pleasure to BS with you for an hour.
For approximately an hour. Disclaimer, asterisk. Oh, no.
Did I do okay with that? Did I do okay?
You did great. Well, that's my current song, but I think we need to actually do karaoke in order to set that there. No, you can do it. I believe in you. You just need one person to believe in you, and that person is me, Richard.
For people who are listening, they should have saw my. Can I describe my face? I'm going to make the face again, so you can describe it to the listeners who aren't being seen.
Yeah. I wish I could. He's covering his face, but underneath there's a deep, abject horror that's happening that you can't really convey through audio, but you have to just imagine that he's mortified at that possibility. But I might make him do it anyway. So whatever. It's what friends are for.
I don't see. Here's the thing. Like I've gotten better. I'm not like stage fright, I guess, because I've done radio for so long that like it doesn't bother me as much as it used to. So I can talk on air or in front of people and be perfectly fine. But it is almost like a embarrassed for everybody else. So like I'll sing in the car, right? I'll sing along like with my friends if we're driving somewhere, whatever, right? At a concert, that type of thing. That's fine. But I know I can't sing. Like I can't do it. So my biggest fear is not for embarrassing myself, which is perfectly fine. And as you know, I do it all the time, quite frankly. I've embarrassed myself on air, off air, wherever it may be. But the thing is, like, I feel bad for the other people who have to listen to me sing. I don't want to put them through that more so than me being super afraid of singing.
I think you're overestimating the expectations of anybody that goes to a karaoke bar and is expecting good singing. If you go to a karaoke bar and you're expecting good singing, that's on you, because you're going to get me up on stage just like giving some completely forgettable rendition of Hollaback Girl or something, just based on the vibe that night. You know what I mean? Like, just it's like going to a bad movie and expecting good things. That doesn't work. It's not how it goes.
Because people are to have a good time, right? They're there, they're drinking their whatever they're drinking, their Mai Tais, their frozen margaritas, whatever their Coors Lights, whatever they may be drinking. And they're there to have a good time. I don't want to ruin their good time.
Okay, but there's a time and place for it. If you are at an Applebee's with a Touch Tunes and you decide to put Higher by Creed on the Touch Tunes and stand on a booth on Dollarita night and you sing, that's a different place than karaoke bar on a Wednesday night at 10 p.m. when everybody's just there to have fun and have a good time and not judge. I'll let you do the Bradley Cooper part if you want to do Shallow together. I'll let you do the Lady Gaga part. That's how much I like you.
I actually like that. That's a great song and a great movie.
That's a great movie. That is a good movie. I'd never seen the original when I went into that movie, and I was shocked by the twist in that movie, the ending of that and how that went. I was like, oh.
Dude, I watched that movie for the first time on a plane. Don't remember where I was flying to. I think actually, when did that movie come out? Like 2018?
I think so. That sounds right. Ballpark.
2018? Because to the best of my recollection, let me see when it came out. I saw that. Oh yeah, it came out in 2018. So I saw it in 2019 when I was flying to Nashville for the NFL draft, and I think I was flying out of Houston or something on my way there. So I had enough time to watch the entire movie and like get to the end, wrecks you, absolute wreck on the flight, man. I was like, gah.
That's kind of an all-timer plane movie. I was talking to some people about this week, and it's like movies that are really good to watch on a plane. And like up top of that list for me is like Crazy Rich Asians. That may not be everybody's number one, but I feel like that's an all-timer plane movie because like you don't need any real context to understand a lot of what's happening. It's like you fly home and meet the parents for the first time. But one, it's a really great movie to like watch by yourself, watch with the sound on, watch with the subtitles on, but it may be even better over a stranger's shoulder without any sound on an airplane. That's my criteria for plane movies. Jurassic World, I think, also kind of fits that.
That's like a whole other discussion maybe we'll put a pin in that discussion and we can talk about that on a future episode, and we can talk about like what are your go-to like practices when you're flying anywhere, because that's
I like that. I'm about to do a lot of flying lately, so I'm gonna have some strong opinions on that.
Yeah, so like everybody has their thing that they do on flights to like keep them comfortable, whatever, to pass the time if they're anxious, whatever. So let's put a pin in that for now, and maybe we can come back to it. And I will add on to that by saying I've never seen Crazy Rich Asians.
That's a good one. I think you should. It's enjoyable at least. And it's like not one that you necessarily have to be like all focus on. Like you can kind of like have it playing while you're doing something else and not miss
God, what happened there?
I told you it was gonna do that. Well, I'm using my phone as my webcam and she's throwing a fit right now, but we're good. Well, if I hit my desk hard enough, which is gonna happen because I'm undiagnosed ADHD and can't.
When I inevitably make you angry from something I say.
When I slam my fist real hard on this desk, that webcam is going down. And you're gonna all see and hear it happen in real time.
As long as you have a case on your phone, you're good.
I do. I am not a caseless phone person. I had to go without one for maybe 15 minutes. Horrifying. I'm so afraid for you. I had to go without one for maybe 15 minutes when I bought this new phone. In the time it took me to go from the T-Mobile store at the mall to the Best Buy at the mall. And I was scared the whole time. It was in my pocket. I didn't even take it out. I was like, I'm not measuring it. I'm not looking at it. I can't take it out because I will drop it. That's it. I don't trust myself. Well, I don't know if it's that I don't trust myself or just that I know myself too well. And maybe that's a different story, but
I know I'm lucky. I've gone caseless for like a year now, and I've dropped it a few times, and I have like one little crack in the corner. You can't tell.
See, I would knock on wood. I would knock on wood for you, but it'll make my phone fall off again, so I can't do that. You're gonna have to do it for me. I can knock on this wall, but that's knock on drywall doesn't really.
I don't want to do it. I did it on this side because on this side there's another apartment right next door.
You have neighbors. Just knock real hard on that wall and see what happens.
I don't even know. I don't even talk to my neighbors. I don't even know. I barely see any of them, and I want to do that. I want to piss them off. So we're good.
Yeah, I don't know who's on this side of me, but they're getting the whole podcast experience along with everybody else right now. So I hope my neighbors are enjoying this.
I'm just picturing
twice for yes.
I'm just picturing somebody just like chilling on their couch and they're watching like the afternoon NFL games and they're like, these games are crap. So I'm just gonna mute the TV and do whatever. And then they hear your half of the podcast and not what I'm saying.
That's so true. Or they just hear me in this room with my Telecaster making a racket, playing the same part of like Master of Puppets over and over again because I can't get through the intro. They just hear me practicing the same, but they're like, "Oh my God, can you pick a different song?" It's like, we get it.
This is supposed to be our holiday episode.
We're doing a really good job of promoting that part of it. For the listeners at home, Richie is wearing a holiday sweater. I have completely dropped the ball and have nothing. Everything's at home with my parents. I have a holiday blanket on the chair behind me, so you can visualize that if you're an audio listener. But just know that I really did drop the ball, and you all can complain in our comments about it because I deserve it. I do. This is our holiday episode, so we're segueing. Go.
Let's see. What do we want to talk about first? Should we go with coming up? Jordan and I both watched a Hallmark holiday movie that's hockey related. And so we are going to review that movie in depth. I'll just give everybody a little bit of a tease for what's coming up. I made an entire sheet of notes for a Hallmark movie, which I had way too much fun watching for that reason.
That's how seriously we take this, ladies and gentlemen.
We don't mess around. We don't mess around.
And don't doubt our commitment to this podcast, because Richie hand wrote notes about a Hallmark movie.
That's right. Speaking of holiday movies, let's dive into our go-to holiday movies. I feel like this comes up every year in every conversation and every either podcast, radio show, and this always comes up. I have my go-to, and I think you know what it is.
I might. I don't want to guess because I'm going to embarrass myself if I get it wrong. But let's hear it. Let's chat about it. Well, and I think the reason it comes up so much is because everybody feels very strongly one way or another. Yes. And I think that just has to do with Christmas or like the holidays in general. Mm-hmm. This is the same reason we listen to like Christmas songs.
I'm going to make this a show and tell. You can continue to talk and set up what we're going to talk about, and I'm going to go grab this particular movie. So
do it.
Keep talking.
Perfect. Okay. I'm leading now. This is I do. I feel like that you can stop me if I'm wrong, audience, but I feel like a big reason why we feel so strongly about like Christmas opinions, like movies or songs or anything like that, is just because we're like trying to recapture that like nostalgia, that like magic of it when we were kids, and just, like keep it together, and just, we all have memories attached to certain things. I'm just going to start telling stand-up comedy jokes while Richie's gone. Oh, thank God. You're back. Because I was like,
wouldn't that be
how
funny
about airplane food?
Wouldn't that be funny if I just... Because I have my AirPod in, so I was listening to the entire time.
You just left. You were like, oh no.
I just went into the other room and just played one massive practical joke on you. And I just like hung out
the whole time.
I just hung out in my living room, keep watching NFL on my phone while you're just rambling, talking by yourself.
But I feel like you would blow it, because I would say something and you would be laughing from the other room. I'd be like, you get back here right now. I know you're not. No, you're not busy. No, you were like, you came back like hustling. And I was like, oh, thank God. Because I was about to be like, so.
I was worried there for a second because I couldn't find it initially. I wasn't worried. I have all of my Blu-rays like in a bookcase basically. And there's some parts of it that don't have any room to like put them like this way next to each other.
Yep.
And so I'll stack them. And I have them in the same spot I have my vinyl records. And so for a second, I couldn't find it. I was like, what did I do with it? I don't see it anywhere. And I had a little bit of a panic. I was like, what did I do? I know it's here. It's easy to find. I actually watched them. Yeah. Spoiler, it's an entire series. And so I know they're there, and I know I have them, but I couldn't find it. But luckily, I didn't leave you hanging for too long.
You're like, oh, who's panicked? I wasn't panicked. Phew. Like, as I wipe sweat off my forehead, like that could have gone so much worse. Okay, go ahead.
I'm hopefully, please don't ever do that to me either, because if there's one thing I do not like doing, it's vamping by myself. Like I have all the utmost respect in the world for hosts of sports talk radio shows that do the thing entirely on their own, and they're just talking to a microphone by themselves for 3 hours. I'm like,
see, I oscillate good for you, man. Because it's either a rejected stand-up comedy special or incapable of normal social interaction. And it's always one of those two extremes, but I never know which one is going to switch on in the back of my head if you leave me alone with a microphone for too long. So thank God it was the first one.
All right, luckily I wasn't gone for too long. I found what I was looking for.
What do we got?
So you know that this is my favorite Christmas movie because I own it. There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
For the people at home, this is Die Hard, the collection. The collection.
Damn right.
There's how many are in there? 3 or 5?
This is all 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Argue your stance for the people. Why is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Okay. Every year I have the same one. So I feel like I have this entire 35-minute bit lined up. So you can just like mute your mic and like drink your coffee and just like hang out for like half an hour while I rant about this. Okay.
Perfect. Let's go. This is the most hands-off.
Okay, so here we go. Let's start with the plot of the movie. Okay. So the plot of the movie is that John McClane, he is a New York City police detective. And John McClane is from New York City. Okay. The entire movie takes place in Los Angeles. So here's the question. Why is John McClane a New York City cop? Why is he in Los Angeles? That doesn't make much sense. He doesn't have any reason to be in Los Angeles when he's a New York City cop. Well, he's in Los Angeles because he's there to see his family for Christmas. And so he goes out to LA because of Christmas. Number one. So the movie doesn't happen at all if Christmas never takes place. Okay. If it's not,
hold on, I'm going to take some notes here. Go ahead. No, keep going.
Yeah. If it's set in July, okay, the movie never happens. Okay. So it has to take place at Christmas time.
Uh-huh.
And one of the first songs we hear in the movie is Christmas in Hollis. Okay, so we have Christmas music playing throughout the entire movie. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't a Christmas movie, they'd be playing other music. Uh-huh. It wouldn't be a Christmas soundtrack. It's a Christmas soundtrack. Okay. Mm-hmm. The entire movie takes place at Nakatomi Plaza. Mm-hmm. Why are they there at Nakatomi Plaza in the middle of the night on Christmas? It's because it's a Christmas party. And that's why the entirety of the movie is taking place in Nakatomi Plaza because
I was trying so hard to take notes the whole time and my pen isn't working, so it ruined my whole bit.
It's okay because I was being distracted as hell I should have just closed my eyes and kept going because I'm like rambling here. But so it's a Christmas party. Okay, that's the only reason that Hans Gruber is there. And the entire movie plot from forward happens is because it's a Christmas party because everybody's there. If it wasn't a Christmas party and nobody was there at night, then it would have been easy peasy, no John McClane. Plot of the movie never happens. Okay. So, also later in the movie, we have where John McClane kills the guy and then he puts him in the elevator, sends him down the elevator. Ding! Elevator opens. Dude has a sweater on it and it says, ho, 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 I have a machine gun. Okay.
Right. Christmas.
Everything in this movie is related to Christmas. It is a Christmas movie.
I'm trying so hard to make this pen work.
End of story.
The whole time.
End of story. I did a terrible job of explaining that because you were distracting me the entire time.
No, you
did a good job of doing it. So I did a terrible job of explaining that. But that's why it's a Christmas movie.
You really sold your point. I'm with you. I have a book at home. I was given it as a white elephant gift one year. And it's like the Die Hard children's book. That's like a Die Hard Christmas. That's a thing. If you have friends or family who go look that up because it's a cool gift.
So that's my 1 seed.
That was so good.
And that's not even a joke. It's not even a joke. And it's a really great movie, too. It's probably still, to this day, the best action movie ever made. And Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber is top notch. And you've probably seen this on Facebook or wherever. It's an ad that pops up and it's a countdown. It's Advent. Is that what they call them? Advent calendars?
Yeah, the little, like the ones with the little boxes that you like open them
up.
Yeah,
it's an Advent calendar of Hans Gruber falling from Nakatomi Plaza.
I have seen that. I like those. Those are fun.
Genius. Die Hard one seed.
Very smart. Very smart. Die Hard one seed. I like that. I'm a the Grinch one seed. Both versions though, which is my condition, because as a kid we always watched the cartoon version, and there was a stipulation that was like we all had to sit down and watch the Grinch and get through the Grinch before we were allowed to like open a gift or like do anything. And I didn't come to realize this until later, but the cartoon version, like the original Dr. Seuss one, is like at most 30 minutes long. But that felt like the longest. That felt like 30 years as a kid when you're like staring at the Christmas tree and like all the stuff under it, and you're like trying to decide what you were going to pick and what you're going to open first. And 30 minutes was an eternity. But as an adult, it's the Jim Carrey Grinch movie, because that movie gets funnier as an adult, because there are jokes in it that you simply don't grasp the weight of as a child. That are just so much funnier as an adult. And my dad and I love that movie. We inevitably end up watching that movie like every year, and I think parts of it are seared into the surface of my brain like a Thanksgiving turkey.
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot. It's like what was it? It's like I called you first. The bit where he's going over his whole schedule. It's like 4:00, wallow in self-pity. 5:30, jazzercise. 6:30, solve world hunger. Tell no one. 9:00, stare at the ceiling and slip slowly into madness. I'm booked. If I move the loathing to 8:30, no. Yeah.
First of all, and I agree with you. Great movie. I actually used to have the soundtrack to that movie on CD.
Very good. I think I bought the Faith Hill version of Where Are You Christmas on at least iTunes or whatever it was. It was probably, honestly, for how long ago it was probably like Napster or like LimeWire.
But yes, I do agree with you that that was usually on our list as a family too. Is Jim Carrey, Grinch, and then in addition to that, we also Christmas Vacation, also top notch every year. Also
always a good one. Yep.
And
here's a hot take one from me is The Sound of Music. It's not technically a Christmas movie, but it just became a thing that we started watching like around Christmas. But like you have to be prepared for this, because it's like 3 hours long. If it's not over 3 hours, it's like 3 hours long. And it's a musical. So don't go into this blind if you've never seen The Sound of Music and expect like a holiday movie. It's not. It's most certainly not. But it became like a Christmas movie for my family. And we love Julie Andrews in this household. So
I have a confession.
Please don't tell me you've never seen it. Richie? I'm going to have to add another thing to your list.
I've never seen Sound of Music.
Richard, no.
Not a bit. I've never seen Sound of Music, not a bit.
Oh, okay, now you have to riff. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I don't know why I've never seen Sound of Music. Jordan has left the room. See, this is the thing. See, I come with my hot takes, and then Jordan gets angry at me, and then she just leaves, which is very sad. I didn't mean to make. I will put it on my list, and I will watch it. Okay? Will I get you to come back?
Jordan's not angry with you. I'm making sure that you've seen it because I own this on DVD.
Oh, so we both came with show and tell. I love that.
I own this on DVD. It is a dual disc with the booklet, with the bonus features. That's how serious this is.
I don't know. My family wasn't a big musical family, so we never watched Sound of Music. the other, like Singing in the Rain, those.
You hadn't seen Mamma Mia until recently.
Correct. Never seen Mamma Mia either. You know what's funny?
Really rough.
The only one I remember watching when I was younger that was like a musical is Sweeney Todd.
The Johnny Depp one?
Yes.
That's a good one.
And I only liked it because it was like the only reason I wanted to watch it and was interested in it at all is because it was like more horror themed. So it was like cool. Like it was more my vibe at the time.
Sure.
But I will do my best
to. No Chicago.
I hadn't seen Chicago until 3 years ago.
Chicago, I feel like is the safe entry one for people. It's either like Chicago or Mamma Mia as far as movie musicals go. And then you start tipping into like Moulin Rouge. You tip into Les Mis if you're committed, because that movie's like 3 hours long. Also, it's horrifying. The Sound of Music is for dedicated individuals. My Fair Lady. Yeah. But like the gateway drug movie musicals are like Chicago and Mamma Mia. And now that you've seen the first Mamma Mia, you can see the second and appreciate it more.
I've seen it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did see it. I was very bummed, however, and you did warn me about this, that Meryl Streep is like barely in it because it's like a prequel. I was like, dang it. Come on. Mamma Mia 3, make it happen and bring back Meryl Streep, please.
Thank you. Yep, this is our public petition.
That's the only reason we started this podcast, is just for that.
We needed a platform to advocate for Mamma Mia 3.
Exactly. Don't get any reservations. Don't be like, well, why do they start the show? No, we started it just so we could speak into the ether and get the petition going to bring back Meryl Streep for Mamma Mia 3.
It's true. We want the whole cast back, by the way. We want all of them.
Everybody, make it a 4-hour movie.
Who cares? Who cares? If it's a 4-hour movie, split it into 2 parts. Like it's like Mission Impossible, like part 1 and 2. Deathly Hallows part 1 and 2. Who cares? Mamma Mia 3, Mamma Mia 4. I'm there. Turn it into a horror franchise halfway through. I don't care. I will be seated with popcorn, which is that I also red flag you for that because you're not a popcorn guy.
Nope, not at the movie theater, at least. I'll eat it like at home.
Movie theater popcorn is so much better than at-home popcorn, and I can say that because I worked at a movie theater, so I know the secrets.
I don't disagree with you at all. It's the only reason I do not, but I don't usually buy anything at movies, which is strange. I know, I'm weird. If I go to the movies, I go to the movie and that's it. I never buy anything. Sometimes I'll buy.
That means you're giving $0 to the movie theater.
That's correct. The last time I did that, I actually bought something was exactly what you're drinking out of right now, which is the Taylor Swift cup, and that's it.
Oh, well, product placement. I had a feeling that was where that was going. I'm good at that. We can say
that. But the thing is, I went to go see the movie. I went to go see the Eras Tour movie with my best friend Corey, and me being me and Corey being Corey, we had to up the ante a little bit. So I bought because we're teenagers apparently. I bought Jack Daniel's shooters with us into the movie.
We're pre-gaming the Eras Tour movie.
Yes, and so we had we both had double shots of Jack in our Coke that we had while watching the movie. And the funny part about that is it was a pretty packed theater. There was a guy like sitting next to Corey, and so when we go and she breaks these out of her purse, the guy sitting next to Corey is just looking at us and nodding along, laughing, like, good for you guys.
Good for you. So good for you. How was your theater, by the way? I think I asked you this, but I don't remember. Like, did you guys go opening day, opening night?
Yeah, we went Saturday night. And it was great. It was everybody was like respectful. Like we didn't have anybody be jerks or anything, and like people were standing up like from song to song. Everybody was like singing along. We had people doing 1, 2, 3, let's go, bitch. We had all those kinds of things, and it was terrific. I loved it. I was like kind of worried like what the crowd would kind of be like, but it was great. There was like two little girls. They were probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 years old, and they were like dressed up in like little like dresses with like lights on them. It was super cute, and I had a great time.
Good. Yeah, I think because I went twice. I ended up going twice, and my first night that I went was opening night, and like everybody that was there was like there for the experience and was like you said, singing, dancing, standing up. We had a girl in the front row. She will never find this, but we had a girl in the front row that had a blanket with her. It was like a jumbo blanket. And there's that bit in August where she like has that choreography with the really like flowy dress. And she was in the front doing the choreography with her blanket, like a dress. And it was magnificent. And but that was like the general vibe of the whole thing was like pretty solid. Now that we've derailed on Taylor, which is probably going to happen about every episode. Yeah. That's so true. Knowing us, we're gonna derail into either Taylor Swift or Boy Genius, like pretty much every episode. So just stay posted for that. But I guess related, we love in this household. We appreciate Julian Baker. We could segue with music into this. What's your Christmas music take? Are you before Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving, or like
you might as well just get up out of your chair and leave again, because I'm not gonna. I'm pretty sure I've discussed this with you at some point. Not a Christmas music guy.
All right, it's been nice, guys. Thanks for listening. That's it. We're done here.
I don't know why we started the show. This is what I do. This is the only. I'm just here to get under your skin.
We've already beefed on 2 fundamental topics so far in our 2 episodes. All right. Well, here's a fun one for you. I think you can appreciate this even if you're not a Christmas music guy, because I found this on Twitter, on X, whatever. I found this on the internet this week. I had never heard of it. It's called Whamageddon. Are you familiar with Whamageddon?
Does this have to do with George Michael?
It does have to do with George Michael, which is my favorite kind of thing. But Whamageddon is apparently it's a game. I don't know whether it's formal or informal, but people try and go from like December 1st until the 24th at midnight or the 25th, whichever way that you play the game, without hearing the song Last Christmas by Wham. And I am participating this year because I just learned about it, and so far I haven't broken my streak yet. But I'll let you know how far I get, because I feel like that's kind of a task. Like I'm gonna be somewhere and hear it and have to run out of the room. Like, does that count? Do you have to have like a certain time limit of exposure to it in order for it to count?
I feel like this is the first time I'm hearing about this. I feel like if it plays at all, you lose. So if you're out in public and you're at your local grocery store or wherever you are and it plays, you lose. But you're way around
one day and lose the game.
Your way around that is wear AirPods at the grocery store, and so if it plays, you're none the wiser.
What if you hear it and it leaks through your AirPods? We're trying to find ways to circumvent Wham.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw that to our 4th official up in the booth for VAR. That would have to go to review.
That's under official review. Yeah, we have to wait on that. All right. Well, I'll take the lead on this. I love Christmas music. I do. But I am after Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas music is allowed. I'm not a before Thanksgiving, because I think Thanksgiving needs its time. It needs its time to shine. It needs its time to breathe. You have to, dedicate some energy to that holiday. Otherwise it defeats the purpose. So yeah, post Thanksgiving dinner is usually my like first play on Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You. That's usually my go-to. You hear that like first note, you're like, it's it. It's time. She's defrosted, she's thawed, she's ready to go.
I was actually at my when I was at my parents' house for Thanksgiving. My mom had Christmas music playing.
I think that's allowed. If that's a choice, I think that's allowed.
That's fair. That's very fair. I think Thanksgiving is like the time to start playing it. Before that's a little much.
That's where that line is. It's like Thanksgiving dinner is that line of
I texted. There. Let's see. Did I text you that too? Did I text? Yes. Okay. I did. I texted you. I went into my kitchen at my place of employment, and this was on November the 10th.
Okay.
And I sent you a video of Christmas music already playing at the radio station on November the 10th. And I was like, it keeps getting earlier and earlier every year because you're very familiar, I'm sure. One of the local radio stations here always plays Christmas music, and that's all they play. And it's like, and they just get bonkers. People love listening to this. And so, like, I swear, earlier and earlier, they make a big deal every year of starting the Christmas music rotation. And it's gotten earlier and earlier and earlier. And every year, I've been working there for 10 years almost. And it just gets earlier and earlier and earlier. And this year, it was the first week in November. It's like, geez.
You might not know this if you weren't like a big Christmas music guy, but do you know Delilah? Like
yeah. She was a DJ. Yeah.
So yeah, Delilah. I think it was on TikTok. God bless that particular corner of the internet. But I saw Delilah used to do the most out of pocket stuff, and people were like, we were recapping this on TikTok, but it was like people used to call in and like tell their like Christmas story or like whatever it was, or, you know, ask for like, you know, please dedicate a song to like, I don't know, my husband who's like a, you know, long distance trucker or, you know, whatever. And like, we always spend Christmas together and he can't be home for the holidays or like whatever it was. But it was always this like slightly sad Christmas story. And Delilah had I swear she probably just had a button for this song. And she was like, well, I mean, that's like all very touching. And like, I hope you have a really happy holidays. Here's a song that I picked just for you. And it was always that Christmas Shoes song. Do you know that one?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes.
My good gracious.
The saddest damn song in the history of mankind.
It is, but Delilah was always out here like dedicating that Christmas Shoes song to somebody. And I was like, don't do that. If I overcome my stage fright long enough to call into a radio station and like spill my life story to all these strangers that are listening, and you dedicate the Christmas Shoes song to me, I would rather be duct taped and thrown into the river. like what? Delilah really out of pocket, Delilah.
That's actually a really hilarious bit. Actually, that's really funny. That's really
It's like, maybe that's what we should do is we'll just traumatize people with this. You're like, wow, thanks for calling in. Anyway, here's the saddest song I can think of. Like, we'd really love it if you played, it's like my husband's, you know, my wife's favorite song is like, I don't know, what's an upbeat Christmas song? Like I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus, also derailing on that one, because did you think too that the kid's mom was cheating on dad with Santa Claus?
Yeah, isn't that?
No, it's
the whole point of the song.
The whole point is that the dad is dressed up like Santa Claus. It's the dad the whole time. It's not like she's cheating on him with Santa.
Time out.
No time out. Work through this. No.
Time out.
No.
I am 32 years old. I will be 33 in short order.
Where's my flag? Flag on the play.
How did I not know this? That's crap.
No, explain yourself.
That's total. First, I haven't heard the song in a while, but I used to hear it all the time, obviously, back in the day, because my mom would have Christmas music all the time. I had no idea. I'm so confused. I'm going to start. This is going to be like my like random bar fact I start throwing out to people.
I'm so glad that we got that reaction on camera, because I thought you knew. Listen, this was a fairly recent discovery for me too, but yeah, the whole time I was like, wow, like mom is really out here like ditching dad for Santa. But the whole point is like the dad is dressed up like Santa Claus.
The fact that
I'm gonna ask Delilah to dedicate that song to you.
Yes. The fact that we listened to that song as children, and that's our thought, is that wait, why is she kissing Santa and not Dad? What,
because,
like that's our thought.
Because we thought of Santa as a separate individual.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. I had no idea. My mind is blown by this. This is incredible. This is why you listen to the show, ladies and gentlemen. You learn something new every week, and that's what I learned.
You learned something. Yeah, it's wow. Richie really learned something this week. It's not my one brain cell moment, but can I nominate that for the one brain cell award this week? You can spill your own brain cell, but I'm just putting that out there that like that might be the winner depending on what you have to offer later.
Yeah, I have something else for later on. I don't think that counts because I'm not the only one that didn't know that.
I want to hear from the listeners. If you thought that, if you were like, Mom is cheating on Dad with Santa Claus, please write into the show. Anyway, happy holidays from Delilah.
We also accept letters. You can send letters.
We do address them to Santa Claus at the 1 North Pole. Why are you doing that to all these poor children? Oh no!
I have one last point on the Christmas music before we move on to our next thing.
Go.
My biggest problem with Christmas music is that it's uninventive. Does that make sense? Like it's the same songs, the same 10 songs that are just re-recorded by every artist in the world, and so that just gets really annoying. So like if there's an original Christmas song, then like okay, that's okay. Like 'Tis the Damn Season.
Christmas Tree Farm by Taylor Swift would like a word in the parking lot after dark.
Christmas Tree Farm, great. I quick story. When we were recording, we were doing Speed Freaks this week, and I was getting set up, and before the show, Kenny was playing Christmas or had the Christmas series station on, whatever, and Christmas Tree Farm came on. And I will give Kenny credit. I was like, Kenny, do you know who this song is? Do you know who that? And he knew immediately that it was Taylor. I was like, all right, well done.
But so I don't know. I think we can use that to circle back, like per my last email style. Like any movie can be a Christmas movie if you associate it with like a Christmas memory. Does that make sense? Like The Sound of Music is not a Christmas movie, but like because we always watch it around the holidays, it like has become a Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like 'Tis the Damn Season is not technically a Christmas song, but it can be. Like you associate it with that. Mm-hmm. So I think within reason, like nobody's out here listening to Anaconda by Nicki Minaj and being like Christmas. And if you are, please be our friend because you sound like fun.
So that's my gripe, is that Christmas music hasn't been invented in 60 years and it's all the same stuff mostly.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that gripe, but I still think you need to broaden your horizons because the rest of us in Burlington, Berkeley, and Cambridge would like a talk.
All right, we were running out of time in this show to do what we were supposed to do, which is talk about this Hallmark movie.
Rapid fire.
We have to. I have to call a quick timeout. I wish we had a commercial break. We don't, because I have to pee like crazy. Maybe we'll edit this out. Maybe we don't. I don't know.
No. I'll be the commercial break.
All right, cool.
You go.
I'll be back. Have fun. All right. I'll make sure yeah.
Have fun. I'm gonna ASMR my way through this. While Richie's gone, I would just like to air out some of my other grievances about him. During this holiday season. Richie one time, he's not going to know any of this is in here until he gets back. This is so great. Richie one time, we bickered about this. He likes to sit in the back of the plane, even when given a choice, like on Southwest, how you like board yourself. He likes to sit in the back of the plane. First of all, red flag, because you're like last to get off. Second of all, red flag, because who wants to sit near the airplane bathroom, especially on like a long flight? Anyway, that's a red flag about him. Another red flag about him is that he's never seen The Devil Wears Prada. And every time I catch him not seeing an essential Meryl Streep movie, I assign him what we call a Hail Meryl, which is that he has to go back and retroactively watch that movie and then let me know what he thinks about it. So he's currently working on at least a couple of Hail Meryls. What else is a red flag about him? This is gonna be so fun for him to edit later. Let's do. Oh no, he's back. Shh, everybody be quiet. Everybody be quiet.
You know what's great? I heard all of that.
No. Who takes their AirPods to the bathroom? Red flag. Red flag. Where is it? Hold on. Where is it? Here it is. Throw on the flag.
That's I love that this entire podcast was literally just invented as like an airing grievances every week.
It is. It's our Festivus tradition, the annual airing of grievances.
So I heard all of that, and I kept the AirPod on me because I wanted to hear. So when I came back, I knew what was happening, and like just in case something important came up, I was like, "Oh, cool, that's happening."
I really thought I was going to get away with that. I guess that's my own fault.
All that staying in the show, 110%.
Oh, perfect. All right.
I will. We're running out of time here. We'll do because we had the airplane etiquette. We'll do that on the next show because we teased that earlier.
We need an airplane episode. We need an air travel episode because we could yell about that for a while.
Yes, absolutely. And then we can do concert. I know you didn't mention concert etiquette. We talked a little bit on the
That's also a good one.
Yeah. But we can do that. We'll do that a little bit later on. You mentioned the Meryl Streep thing. Mm-hmm. Yes, I haven't seen Devil Wears Prada. Amazing. I know.
Hurts.
I'm working my way through it. I've seen Mamma Mia. So we're there. I watched
Mamma Mia is not an exhaustive list.
I watched one with Bruce Willis. What was it called?
The one with Bruce Willis.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it, but I watched that one too.
Gracious. Yeah, he's on a couple of Hail Meryls, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. But speaking of movies, not Die Hard. Speaking of movies that are not Die Hard, a task that we assigned ourselves for this week, just a particular brand of misery, is that we decided that we would watch a Hallmark movie and review it. And because we're both hockey people, we picked a hockey-centric movie. Not the latest one to be released, apparently, which is kind of horrifying that there's more than one. But what is it called? Taking a Shot at Love?
Taking a Shot at Love.
Okay. And I told Richie I was going to save this for the podcast. We did not purchase this movie. I will tell you that much. He's laughing because he already knows. But I was trying to watch this movie and it kept the site that we got it from. It was on YouTube. YouTube, please don't take it down or like find that person, but it kept zooming in and zooming out every couple of seconds. And it was just like a bad advertisement because it would be like looking at this lady and then all of a sudden it's so close up. The shot is so close up and it doesn't have anything to do with what's happening. The first couple of times I was like, maybe this is an editing choice, but then it just kept happening. I was like, oh, this is unwatchable. And the movie is an hour and like 23 minutes. I was like 45 seconds in, like, I'm not going to be able to finish this. So I texted Richie. I was like, SOS, is it zooming in randomly for you too? Because it's like become a sitcom episode essentially. And now I kind of want to go back and watch it that way and just see what it randomly zooms in on, which I feel like you can make a fun game of. But we watched this whole thing and Richie took notes like extensively.
I did because I have
the people.
My memory is garbage. So if
goldfish brain.
Yeah. So like, especially when it comes to consuming any type of media, I have no memory. Like if I could watch a movie like this one and try to recall different particular things that happened in the movie, like if you made reference to them and I wouldn't remember. Like both of us have seen the Marvels recently. Love the movie.
Great movie, by the way.
11 out of 10. Go see it. We want that movie to make more money so we can get more.
We do. And don't listen to the silly people on the internet that don't have a good reason to make you not like that movie. Go see that movie.
Exactly. So like you could reference a particular scene in that movie and I wouldn't remember it. And there's a couple scenes that I remember, but like outside of the couple scenes, you could reference something, and I was like, oh yeah, I wouldn't remember it because I need to watch things or consume things multiple times in order to remember them.
Yeah, collectively we have the object permanence of like a 2-year-old. It's like it's like peekaboo. Like you cover my eyes, I'm like, well, they're gone. It's like you hang up on FaceTime with your family and just start screaming because you're like, well, they're gone forever. Object permanence.
So that explains why I took very extensive notes.
Oh, so good.
And you can see them there.
The handwriting is a little suspect, but let's see what you got written down.
You can't read any of that. So I decided to take notes on this particular movie in a very certain way. I decided to assign red and green flags to bits and pieces of the movie. So would you like me to go through, because I did them in order of the movie. So would you just like me to go through my entire note section here and just react to it, or?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. I'll just riff on it because I have a more general take on this, and I think we should preface it by saying like we watched this because we're both hockey people. We watched this with sort of the expectation that we were going to try and poke holes in this thing and like tear it apart. You know what I mean? But like a lot of people put a lot of work into this movie, and I feel like it's important to acknowledge that like some of it was actually not horrible. That was like my overall take on it, is like there were a couple of points where I was like, this is actually okay. Like I'm having a decent time watching this. And then some of it was like, not so good. So I'm gonna let you take the lead, and I'll just riff on you. Riff tracks.
Very generally, normally movies like this I can't stand. It's not my thing. Do not consume. Do not recommend.
Yeah, we never voluntarily like scroll through the movie list and like pick this one. No.
Yeah. However, all things considered, I've seen a lot worse. Okay, this was like the most vanilla story in the history of mankind. The actors are actually really good, and like they're actually quite likable.
There were no surprises the whole time. You knew exactly where it was going. It was a straight line all the way through. Yeah.
The only like TV shows I've seen that are worse. Production values, etc., etc. Perfectly fine, baby.
Sure.
If it's your thing. But let me start from the top here, and we'll go through the entire movie. Synopsis of the movie: he's a hockey player. She's a dance instructor. He gets hurt. He needs help rehabbing. Dancer shows him how to rehab his messed up ankle, and
also how to rehab his heart.
Yes. And they fall in love. That's the Richard synopsis.
It's a straight line. That plot is
exactly. So I'm going to read this verbatim what I wrote in order here. This is going to be great. Challenge for me to actually read my handwriting. Here we go.
That's what I was going to say. Is I was like reading it straight through. That's the biggest challenge.
So I had to write down the characters' names because
I don't know if I could tell you the guy's real first name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, because I wouldn't have remembered either. So the girl's name is Jenna. The guy's name is Ryan Cooper, affectionately referred to by his teammates and fans as Coop. Coop plays for the New York Rangers, which we know very well because he is wearing New York Rangers apparel 90% of the movie. Because
the whole time,
it's pretty clear to me that Hallmark paid a decent amount of money to get the license from the NHL to use the New York Rangers logo.
The whole time. Look me in the eyes. Find me an NHL player that on their day off in public wears their own team's merchandise. It's that bit from Hercules where Hades is talking to the little minions, Pain and Panic, and he's like, "You're wearing his merchandise." This man is wearing his own merch out in public all the time. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so that was one of my notes. I said always wears Rangers gear. That's a red flag. There is not, like you said, both of us have worked in sports. They don't wear their gear outside of the rink, outside of practice. They don't. Okay, so
like maybe you do, but not all the time.
Not all the time, like Ryan did, everywhere. So that's red flag number one. Anyway, all right, so here we go. So we start off the movie. What if we just did 2 hours on this?
And we just word for word, we're table reading the Hallmark movie the whole time. Yeah.
There's one of my favorite podcasts recently that I've been listening to a lot because they do a lot of recaps on shows I watch. It's called House of R.
Okay.
And they do just that. They deep dive every episode of like big pop culture shows. And so like for example, the Ahsoka just finished up on Disney Plus.
Yep.
Their Ahsoka deep dive episodes for a 45 to an hour television show, their podcast would go for 2.5 hours, just talking about one episode of television. So that's what we should do here. We should do 3 hours.
3 hours of the Hallmark original movie, Taking a Shot at Love.
Yes. Okay. So
horrifying.
Again, we have not. This is great. Okay. So taking a shot at love notes. That's how I started because I need to tell myself what my notes are for.
Mm-hmm. That's important. Goldfish brain.
Mm-hmm. So the movie starts out with Jenna. She is at her house and she is making coffee.
And Jenna's house is a Nescafe ad. Let's just start, let's just start with that off the bat. This woman, true. I guess we could go back on this for the Christmas thing, but this lady's house is holiday decorated like a pottery barn. It is, there is not an ounce of color in this woman's house. It is all blue, gray, white, interior decorated, and she's got all this stuff on the counter, and she's like pouring coffee out of a French press, and there's nothing else to go with the French press. The coffee is pre-made. She's pouring black coffee straight into a mug and then pretending like she likes it. Like how many takes of this did we have to do we just ripped this from a Nescafe advertisement and put it in a movie because we did not shoot those things separately.
Yeah, skipping ahead. I was going to go in order, but I'm glad you brought that up. I did 2 things here. I said the way she was making her coffee, red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Red flag. Nobody is that obsessive about coffee unless you're like in the business.
Sure.
Number 2, no cream in coffee for Coop.
Yeah.
That's also a red flag.
Black coffee. I thought you were going to go a different direction with this because I think you have notes about her too, but her best friend that like walks in and says like your whole life is a coffee advertisement was like, it was being very self-aware, and like I have to give it some props for the dialogue there because there were bits of the dialogue where I was like, that's actually like kind of clever. Like it's not taking itself too seriously. And like
I do have some notes about the bestie.
That was a really good point for the whole movie. She was great.
The bestie, her name is Erin. She's great. She was one of my favorite characters. Like everybody needs a bestie / neighbor like Erin. She is like the entire time very supportive and plays the setup the wing woman. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Plays the wingman perfectly. So that's my first note of the entire episode. Is she baked her bestie treats. That is a green flag. Green flag. One of the first shots we see is like her like giving a basket of, I don't even know what they were, cookies, something.
Yeah, they were like, I don't know, pastries or something. Pre-baked, again, pottery barn.
Yes. Green flag. Next scene, we cut to practice. Coop's practicing, goes to talk to Coach. Coach apparently does not know Coop's nickname because he has to correct Coach to call him Coop, which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Both of us are on hockey for a while. Nobody refers to anybody by their first name. No. Everything's nicknames.
In the sports world, it's like that too. Like we have people that I'm like, I honestly forgot what your legal first name was because I've never called you by it. And I was like, you're like startled to find out that information. I'm gonna red flag this too because I don't know if you did it, but in our first shot of Coop, he has that white sticker on the front of his helmet, which like I'm fairly certain is just because they have to cover the equipment brand because they like didn't pay the licensing fee for it. But it makes it look like every 7-year-old at like learn to play hockey when they put their name on the front of their helmet. I'm like, we're supposed to be the New York Rangers, and you're immediately taking me out of it here with like the white sticker on the front of the helmet. Like, make it blue, make it black, make it less visible. Don't have learn to play hockey on the front of Coop's helmet.
I didn't notice that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Because they don't do it for the, at least not that I noticed, for like the stuff where he's practicing with the minor league team, which like comes later. But like very first introduction, I'm like, no, no, thank you. I also just, I feel for the production guy that had to like oversee the budget and look at this and is like, why are we spending so much damn money on pro stock hockey equipment from the New York Rangers for this production? It's like, what is this line item? Anyway, somebody had to approve that. It was, rough.
Another red flag during that same conversation in Coop. So, backtrack. This movie takes place after the new year because the kids are still on holiday break. So, this takes place in January-ish. It's still the winter time. For those of you that don't know the NHL schedule goes from about October until June. Stanley Cup playoffs.
Depends on how well your team does, but yeah.
Yes. Stanley Cup playoffs, generally May, June. Okay. Piece of dialogue in the very first scene we see Cooper in, he's asking to be ready for the next round of the playoffs.
I didn't pick up on that. That's good. No, that's very good.
Red. And whoever wrote this movie clearly was not a hockey fan. Like, hockey fan because it does not know the schedule. This comes back a little bit later on too, and like the very, very end of the movie. I will say it was very aware of its own limitations in that way. Like, they didn't spend a lot of time on the hockey part, other than the fact that was like, that's apparently the only thing that lives in this guy's brain. He's a very one-dimensional character in that way, but they didn't focus too much on that. They didn't focus too much on like the intricacies of like the ballet part. They didn't focus too much on his injury, which like I appreciate, because I was all ready to poke holes in that thing. I was like, I was wondering about that because Coop has a high ankle sprain.
He does, and he tells Jenna she should like consider pivoting her career to athletic training, and I was like, no, that means she has to go back to school, honey. I don't know if you know.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you said that because I wrote that down. I wrote that exact thing down. I said, Jenna, the AT question mark.
Yeah, but like, to their credit, they did a pretty good job of staying away from the specifics, which I feel like could have taken away from it a lot more for all of the different realms that we dabble in. And like, probably also for people that are into ballet that were like all ready to poke holes in this movie for a different reason.
All right, let's see what else. Let's keep going down my list here. Okay. So did that one. Oh, here we go. One of my favorite scenes, I referenced this in a text to you this morning, which is first he does his first class, does terribly. Next morning, he acts like he was just in a fight like a mixed martial arts fight and could barely walk.
No, he's been shot. He's been shot, stabbed, handcuffed, dumped in the river, fished back out, made to fight for his life. Like, he acts like somebody like propped him up on a pitchfork and left him there to sit overnight. He's like walking around and like making all these noises, like limping the whole time. Like, man's pain tolerance is 0. It's 0. Like, you ask him to rate it on a scale of 0 to 10. He like stubs his toe. He's like 10. Cut it off.
My specific note here was pro hockey player that doesn't stretch, red flag.
Also true. Also very, very true. Please stretch.
Jenna mentions multiple times.
Even if you're a minor athlete, even if you're a weekend warrior, please stretch.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's that one. Side note, as diverting from my notes, I'm wondering what your thought about this is. I kept trying to figure out how long he's been in the NHL for, how old he is, because they seemingly nod to the fact that he's a veteran guy. He's been around for a while. He is a very popular player in New York. And I could not figure out for the life of me how long he's been in the league, which leads me to another.
I don't think they mention it. But no. Like you said, like they show all these scenes of like people recognizing him in public and being like, "You're Ryan Cooper," and like, you know, whatever. But I don't know. They don't talk about it. And I think like his agent is talking to him or something, and like very just vaguely is like, "Well, you know, you got a lot of years left." Like, how old is this guy? We'll never know. He's Benjamin Buttoning, I guess.
Benjamin Buttoning, because that's one of my big takeaways. I think I said this to you as well. Like, this guy does not act for 1 second like a professional athlete.
No,
there's nothing about him that I would ever believe that guy is a professional athlete. He looks like he's athletic, but outside of that, no, this guy does not act one bit like any professional athlete I've ever ran into. I've covered NHL on and off for several years. No, nothing about this guy is a professional athlete.
That's so fair. He carries himself like an actor playing a hockey player and not somebody who actually has professional sports experience. I'm trying not to like, you know, throw strays at this guy. Like maybe he does have professional sports experience. Who knows? But, and like, clearly the extras, or at least some of the other actors, like have some hockey experience. Like they show some shots of them like on the ice and you're like, okay, you do kind of know what's happening here. Like that wasn't like and you know, maybe that was just a casting call and they were like, people in the filming area who have hockey experience, we need you as an extra or something like that. But either way, like there's at least a little bit of knowledge there. I can't fully like deflate that balloon.
Because that was one of my notes. This man is not a pro hockey player. Red flag.
Yeah.
He is like.
Oh, here's my thing though. This was what flagged me was his stick that he carries around. He carries around the same stick the entire movie. 2, it doesn't look like it's been taped in 90 years. And the way that he holds it, there's like a scene of him like where he's like trying to like juggle the puck outside. I'm like, no, he would physically never be able to succeed with the grip that you have on that right now. Like that's are you okay? Like somebody got that stick out of a production manager's garage and just like threw it on set and was like, here you go, good luck.
Again, I did not notice that. I just picked up on the way he carried himself the entire movie, which That's is like he's like would be like the nicest professional athlete in the history of mankind, I think. Like no bad words to say about Coop. Seems like a very, very nice man.
He does. Jenna, very upstanding citizen, yeah.
Jenna nailed it. She's lucky to have found Ryan Cooper.
Very upstanding citizen.
Yeah, let's go. Let's see. Yeah, been going for a while, but I'm going to keep going here because it's too good.
Going.
I wrote these extensive notes. I'm going to go through them.
I'm going to stop derailing you. No, I won't.
Jenna dated her boss when she was in the ballet. That's a big red flag, Jenna.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Carol from HR has some stuff to say about that. What is from It's Always Sunny? It's they're trying to find Pepe Sylvia and he doesn't exist. They're like, well, Carol from HR, and he like goes and tries to find Carol from HR's office, and that doesn't exist either.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Junk food cabinet, red flag. Nobody who lives by themselves, as Jenna does, has that much junk food in their cabinets.
I'm going to respectfully disagree with that point because I know what's in my own cabinet, but I will say, that nobody has their junk food in airtight containers, like Pampered Chef, Tupperware, like airtight sealed containers. Nobody's taking the Doritos out of the bag and putting them in a separate container and then sealing it and being like, I'll eat those later.
Red
no, you're
flag.
Not, girl. No, you're not. Just if you're going to eat the Takis, just full hand them out of the bag and accept defeat. And you should find breadcrumbs all over your house. And that's how you know you did it right. Like, eat pizza out of the box on your floor like a New York City garbage rat like the rest of us. There's no shame in it. Just do it.
Nope, not at all. All right, a couple more things. So we get to the end of the movie. Ryan is back healthy, allegedly. He practices with the AHL team during the playoffs. Red flag. Red flag.
Are you even allowed to make that roster move?
No, you can't.
It's like, wait a minute.
In the NHL, rehab doesn't exist. This isn't Major League Baseball. You can't send a guy down for a rehab assignment.
But you can put them on long-term IR like Mark Stone.
Yeah, exactly.
And circumvent the cap.
Bringing that back. Still bitter about that one, huh?
I'm still mad about that one. I'm sorry, and you should be too.
So clearly the timeline does not match up here. The facts are awful. Playoffs taking place in January. The Stanley Cup final. Now, I don't know if you caught this. They take a shot allegedly outside of Madison Square Garden, and they show the playoff logo. Okay, this is just the generic playoff logo.
Yeah, it's like the 2015 Stanley Cup playoffs.
2015
logo.
Which is funny that they couldn't get anything more recent. And I wish I could go back and watch the movie again and had any interest to do so and see if the technology and everything lines up with it being in 2015. Because
That's true,
I never
isn't a lot of the merch that he's wearing is like Fanatics branded merch, and like that would not have been available back in 2015.
Exactly. I think you're right, because it was a different
poking
contract.
Holes in the continuity here. We found a loophole, folks.
And that bothered me like crazy. I was like, so this movie takes like it is very obvious that it says 2015 playoffs. And I maybe I will. I don't know if I'm bored and go back and watch it and like poke holes in like the timeline.
Watch the version where it zooms in intermittently and tell me what you get from that.
Oh boy. Anyway, so my favorite part is it just shows the generic playoffs. Now, the two teams allegedly playing in the playoffs, do you remember who they were playing?
It was the Rangers and the Canucks.
Rangers and the Canucks, exactly.
Yeah.
Which can only happen in the Stanley Cup final because both of those teams are from opposite conferences. I will, unless this happened in the bubble. In which case you could have the same conference, right? Because the
2015 bubble, of course.
Exactly.
As we all know. Yeah.
So I have multiple questions about this. Like, I don't know why they just did it, because the Rangers were in the Stanley Cup final in 2014 against the Kings.
They were.
Why didn't they just make it that and make it Rangers Kings? Maybe the Kings didn't want to sell it anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nothing about this makes sense.
They needed to hire a hockey consultant, in which we mean us, and for a small fee of some money.
Yeah, any hockey fan would have been able to point this out to them in 2 seconds.
Sure. Ask the extras that you asked with hockey experience as background actors to just fact check you real quick.
So they are alleging that the Stanley Cup final takes place in January because the timeline is essentially seemingly takes place over about a month, and their big like dance recital is at the end of the month after his like month-long rehab ish, and so like nothing about this movie lines up.
No, it's like you said, it's bubble playoffs anyway. We're gonna explain our way out of that and just say that it was a bubble final for what we
so we just spent 30 minutes dissecting this movie with my very extensive notes.
It could have been like 3 hours, so I think we did pretty well, all things considered.
Let's give it a rating out of 10. What would you grade Taking a Shot at Love, the Hallmark movie from, I believe it came out in 2021?
Out of 10 is an interesting question. I'm gonna go out of 5, like how they usually rate movies, and I would put it like a 2.5, maybe borderline of a 3, because like some of it was kind of enjoyable, some of it was really, the dialogue was really kind of garbage, but some of it was fine. I think it was a perfectly enjoyable way to spend 90 minutes, even as a hockey fan who went in with expectations to like sever the whole thing. So I think it was fine. I'll go 2.5.
I'm gonna go a little bit higher. I'm gonna go 3 out of 5.
I'll say 2.5, but potential to go to a 3 if you watch the version that zooms in and out. and then you put like people do that with like Twilight, and you put like a mustache on the screen, and whenever it like lines up, it's like a drinking.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do that. That would make it an enjoyable 3. Possibility to go to the 3.5, maybe.
So I 3 out of 5. It was perfectly cute, unoffensive movie. Other than they got all of the hockey stuff completely wrong.
Sure, but like they didn't take themselves too seriously with that.
I kind of want to watch another, because there's another one of these same movies, and
there are so many Hallmark movies. We could just do Hallmark movie reviews. that would be putting us into a hole of the podcast hell that I don't think we can dig ourselves out of.
Yeah, I don't want to subject ourselves to that anymore. Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. Let's get to it. We wrap up the show every week with our one brain cell award. Jordan gave me a half a one earlier in this episode.
I did.
But let's see. I think you went first in the last one.
I think I did. It doesn't really matter. You go.
So I'll go first this time.
Yeah.
All right. So this also happened to me very recently. I feel like this happens to me a lot, and I don't know why. And I hate it. I hate it because I never used to do it, and it makes me.
I don't know where this is going.
And I get annoyed every single time. It's one of the few things that gets me like super anxious if this particular thing happens. And that is losing my wallet.
Oh no, not again.
This I feel like happens like more and more often as I get older. Not a good sign, but the reason why I'm mentioning this, it has a good resolution. I will spoil the ending. I end up finding it, which is why I'm putting it on this list. So I was leaving for work or something yesterday, and I was like, oh crap, I don't have my wallet. I need my wallet so I can buy my dinner. And I looked everywhere for this damn wallet in the places I would normally put it. Usually what I'll do is I will take the wallet out of my shorts and I will just like put it with my keys inside my hat. And that's where it goes all the time.
Okay.
Did not do that this time. This time, it was in my backpack, which I have right here. This is where I put all my gear for radio stuff.
Okay.
But here's the problem, which made me feel really stupid. I looked in that damn backpack before. I was like, where? It's not in the backpack. Where the hell is it? And I looked everywhere else. And I looked on this desk. I looked on my TV stand. I looked out in my car. I was like, oh crap, did I leave it somewhere? Did I leave it at the radio station? Etc., etc. I was like, I'm going to go and look in my bag one more time. Just for my own sanity. And I'll be damned if it wasn't in that damn backpack that I already looked in 15 minutes prior. It was just in a different part of the backpack that I could not see from the outside, like when I shook it.
See, that's what I like to call the mom effect. This ever happened to you when you were a kid? You were like, I can't find, like, insert item here. Mm-hmm. Like, Mom, I lost this thing and I can't find it. And she walks into the room and checks a place that you know that you just looked and it appears there like magic.
Yep.
Okay. That's the mom effect. So that happens. I'm with you there. That's happened to me. And you were like, this is a thing that happens as you get older. So now I have that to look forward to, but also it's not a problem until you leave your keys in the freezer and then you put like the ice cube tray in your pocket and you leave the house with it. And then that's concerning. It's like, we're not quite there yet. It's like, once you start putting them in really weird places, then you're like, medical concern, but, not quite there yet. So that's a good sign.
Mm-hmm. Your turn.
Okay, my one this week. This is okay. Part of it is my one brain cell, but part of it is someone else's one brain cell, and I'm angry about it. And I don't think I told you about this. I like this week we get an hour and a half for lunch where I work, and so I ordered lunch to go, and I was gonna go pick it up, and there's just a general absence of parking in the downtown area where like a lot of the pickup stuff is, because it's college town. It's like really populated and there's a lot of cars and a lot of people, so it's sometimes kind of hard to find parking. And I went to the place that's like closest. I ordered from Raising Cane's. Shout out Cane's. And I went and I ordered pickup, and I went to park in the closest parking lot to Cane's, and the parking lot was full. And I wasn't about to like illegally park or something. I was like, that's just asking for it. And I like thought to myself, I was like, I'm not gonna illegally park because like that's gonna get me in trouble. So I just kept driving, and I went, up the street like maybe another 500 feet to this parking complex, and it's for a shopping center that Cane's is not in. But I was like, I'm gonna be here like a maximum of 5 minutes, like long enough to just walk down the hill, get my to-go order that's already ready. Like I just have to pick it up off the shelf and walk back. It's like, this is gonna be fine. So I park there, walk down, get my order. It's 10 minutes max, like maybe not even. Come back with my to-go order, and someone has put a bright green, like tow away warning sticker on my back windshield, in the middle of my back windshield. And this is the part that really had me heated. It's a paper sticker. So when you go and try and peel it off, it doesn't come off. And it comes off in little baby pieces and leaves all the white stuff behind, right?
Yeah.
This is in the middle of my back windshield, which is like probably a safety hazard. And worse than that, it's just flagging to everybody when you drive down the street that's like, hey, I was stupid and parked somewhere that I shouldn't have for like, a longer period of time than I should have. And I was like, this is dumb. And I got it while parked in front of a specific establishment, which I will not name, but I need those people to know, if you're watching and you're listening to this, I'm in your walls. I'm under your bed. And when you go to sleep tonight, and when you get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, I'm going to jump out and I'm going to gnaw your ankles. Just know that. So it's partly my one brain cell, but it's their one brain cell too, because there wasn't really a need for it. It's not like I parked there for an extended period of time overnight. I wasn't in a fire lane. And it's like one of those that has a little space where like you can write like what you did. At least just check a box and tell me what I did wrong. Like that's fine. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not going to fist fight you. I thought about it, but I'm more angry than not, because it felt like a completely valid reason. And I wasn't even parked in a space that said like, for this store only, for this shopping space only. I checked before I parked. And like I told you, I moved from that other parking spot because I was like, I don't want to be stupid and get a ticket for this. And for my efforts, I was rewarded with having to scrape the paper bit of the sticker off my back windshield with a knife in the blistering cold. Because that was the only thing I had. It was freezing cold here. It was like 35 and like dark at night by the time I got done with work, and I was out there like swearing to myself as I like try and scrape the whole paper sticker off the back of my windshield. But I did work smarter, not harder. And if that ever happens to you, ladies and gentlemen, use a little bit of rubbing alcohol to like break down the adhesive, and then get some hot water. You can kind of just like scrub it off. But people will know that you're stupid for the whole time that green sticker is on there. So
I have so many questions. Like, why not just put like a little note on the, like, and every time I parked elsewhere where I wasn't supposed to park or got a ticket, it was like a little note in your, like where your windshield wipers are, and say you're not supposed to be here.
Oh, your questions are my questions, my friend. I have no answers for you. That's the worst part of this whole story, is that I have no answers. I have more questions than answers, and I'll never know. But I'm not parking there again, so I guess mission accomplished.
Did you get all of the crap off of the windshield, or is it like one of those projects that you're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks?
I was not willing to drive around any longer with that thing on the back there and just like signal to everybody that I was an idiot for a minute. It's public perception.
I will confess that I'm lazy. I have the propensity to be lazy if I don't want to do something for labor intensive tasks. If that happened to me, I would just like leave it there. Like, all right, cool. I don't care. Move on. I don't have 20 minutes of my life to do this.
Yeah, no, I think that's the human condition. You're like, I don't really feel like it.
I probably just would have like torn off what I could and just left everything else on there as long as I could see. We're good.
I should have Uno reversed it is what I should have done, and just like put another sticker on top that was like, my sticker's better than yours. It's been like, well, that defeats the purpose now because my sticker's on top of this sticker. So like, whatever. Warning. Who's warning who now? Sucker. Like, but I still don't know who it was, and so like I can't go get mad at a specific establishment necessarily. But I'm like, nah, meet me in the parking lot after hours just to talk. But like, just to talk, it'd be fine. Making thinly veiled threats on the podcast. That's probably a good place to end.
I think so too.
Trouble.
Once again, for the second consecutive episode, we went overtime, ladies and gentlemen.
This is going to be a recurring thing. Can already see it happening.
We are never ever getting out in exactly an hour. I spent way too much time on my notes. That was the problem.
Like ever. Go ahead. Are you doing the outro? Or am I doing the outro?
I did it on the last show. So
you did last time. All right.
Yeah, one of my I'm gonna teach you how to outro a show. Your Twitch streams were great and you had the good sign off every time, but we need to nail it down.
Okay. Oh, this is the part where I go for it. Okay. Yeah, well, awesome. Already blowing it. For my co-host Richie and myself, Jordan, you can follow us at our handles and at our social handle, OHOBC Pod, on pretty much anything that you get your anywhere you consume your podcast and social media material. We have been roughly 1 hour, one brain cell. Good night and good holidays officially.